Hey, Lottery family, it's Will coming to you live. It is Thursday, January 6th, 7:53 a.m. Family, I'm going to get into something that you probably didn't know was happening for Pick 4. And I had a signature win once when I followed this strategy. It's one of the reasons I put the sum strategy into play. So let's get into it. So, family, I'm going to assume that move this over here. I think it's always a good idea to look at past history to understand what's going on to predict the future. This scenario is no different. So I'm going to assume that today is the fourth, right? Tuesday, not Wednesday, because we already know the drawings for Tuesday. And I want you to take a look at the sums column. There's a reason I'm having you take a look at the sums column because for the last few days, you have a few top sums, which is particularly interesting. So you're on the fifth. Well, for this example, you're on the fourth day, which means you had eight draws: one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. But within those draws, you're starting to see a pattern. Again, you can't see it unless you're some just really awesome math guy who you can just add numbers and keep track of numbers in your head, or if you have the data in front of you. I'm not a superior math guy. I'm a math guy, but not where I can just blanketly look at numbers. And I guess even if I were blanketly looking at them, I would think that what's happening wouldn't be happening anyway. I just don't look at numbers like that. But anyway, I have the data looking at numbers. And as you can see here, the sum for 11 and the sum for 21 is pretty pronounced. Now, normally I wouldn't look at these because 11, that's 25 numbers. And for 21, that's 38 numbers. And if I exclude the past winners, now I have 36 numbers. So if I wanted to win $5,000 on that and guarantee it, I would have to combo this number list. And who's going to do that every day? So in my mind, I want to get this list down as small as I possibly can, and maybe even exclude some stuff that may not have a strong chance of coming out. But as I say that now, I don't know if you guys caught the last winner, but I'm just going to put it on and show you guys the last two numbers that came out yesterday for pick four also equal 21, which I think is fascinating. 77662 came out and 7617. Both of those sums equal 21. So, family, based on this information, what do you think the likelihood? Again, we're only in the fifth month, the fifth day of January. What do you think the likelihood of that 21 sum coming back? I think that likelihood is very high. Um, it may even happen today. If it does, now you're talking about, instead of 38 numbers, you're talking about 34 numbers that you could potentially play. Um, that gets to be really nice, especially if you consider if you bet something like this would be if you just bet $12 on all 34 of these numbers, you're talking about somewhere. What is that? 68 plus the 300. Yeah, so you're talking about $368 to win $2,500. Um, and that's just sort of round numbers. I was probably going to be less than that, but just keep that in mind, family. This sum strategy seems to be getting really hyped. Four of your last eight draws totaled 21, and three of your last draws totaled 11. I think there's some opportunity there. Let's talk about pick three, family. So I'm actually I've been doing a lot of coding work. Um, just there's some new things coming out in the next release of mylottodata.com. Florida added a new pop game. Um, so I'm going to be putting that out along with Fantasy Five. Again, I'm just trying to have a place where you can go and really look at these numbers holistically, without having to go to different websites. Uh, because there's really only two websites, actually maybe even just one website, that tracks numbers in such a way that you could see it rolled up. And because you guys know I'm constantly innovating, if you have some cool suggestions on how you'd like to see the data broken out, please share it, especially if you use it to get wins. I know some folks have different strategies when it comes to doubles and triples. I have yet to talk to anybody who has a real strategy, like how they play to win. So I guess until I hear something different, my strategy is probably the only game in town. But I also wanted to talk about pick three for a second. So last night, one of the things I do, I don't play every night, but I do send myself potential wins that I could have. And last night was no different. For pick three, I guess everyone has seen like the last three numbers that have come out. Like if you had just done something like this and done something like that, you see the win was right there with the 017. I think it was right here. So to get that as a combo, you would have had to spend roughly six times this to get the combo, and you would have spent $240, which would have meant $240 to get $500. I saw it, family. I had it right here. Well, you guys believe me, because I think a lot of people probably saw that and was like, "Oh, I could have picked up the combo right here," even if you had just if you had sort of stayed within this realm of number play, you could have picked up that win with four-way stop. It was super simple. But I didn't want to spend $240 to win $500. I was talking about mindset and money. That's sort of where I'm at. It's like I would have spent $240 to win like maybe $10,000. Now, FYI, that's along the lines of what I did yesterday. And some may even wonder, like, well, why didn't you go ahead and get the guaranteed win? I guess when you graduate to, the type of money that you're used to be getting, like you only focus on what you think is valuable to you. I guess that's another way of putting it. Like man, $500 isn't going to do anything for me. Um, Again, I was telling y'all about that denomination level, like $500, whether I lose it or gain it, it probably sit here somewhere. That's not any money to me. When you start getting into the tens of thousands of dollars, that starts to get, money, like reasonable amount of money to me. So that's what I aim for. So last night, I went. I was playing for $10,000. I didn't win it, but based on the strategy that I used, I'll just say the winning number was the numbers that I picked was in this list. So if I really wanted the $10,000, I would have had to spend. Um, I would have had to spend a lot more, like 34 times, something like I would have had to spend like roughly 3,400. And see, family, that's, let me talk about that. Let me talk about that for a second, because I want you guys to understand something here. Here, I'm going to put up my calculator, and I'm going to explain to you, because another one of my users asked about 60 numbers. So family, here's 44 numbers. The guaranteed win was in there. I knew it was in there. I how can I knew the win was in there. I played yesterday to win more, but I knew the win was in there. So if I did 44, right? I wanted to win $10,000. There's 44 numbers here, and if I had excluded the last two, it would have been something like 42 numbers. So let's say 42 numbers, times six. That would have guaranteed me the $500 win. So basically, I would have had to spend, for every $252 I spent, I would get $500. Now, some people say, hey, that's not a bad deal. You're basically, especially if you're guaranteeing it. So, okay, so $252 to $500. If I wanted $10,000, I would have had to do that 20 times. So if I times this times 20, it's $5,000 I would have had to spend. Do I want to spend $5,000 to make $10,000? Some people will take that bet, family. I'm telling you, that's not a bad look at how to get that money. Um, I think we can narrow it down to even more than that. But here's what you get into: you wherever you go, you're gonna have to walk into a Publix or a racetrack and basically say, "Here's 3,000 or $5,000." They'll take your money. I've said that's not even the problem. They'll take your money. I just don't. I guess part of my challenge is, um, I could get a win like that, and that's not gonna set me back or make me feel any type of way. But I'm trying to like tailor a little bit of the strategy to what I think your pockets are. So I know most people don't walk around with $3,000 or $5,000 in your pocket, but family, I think we've already proven. Even if you did something like this, for example, right? If you took it off that, right, and you were down to 28, um, you're basically talking about now, what is that, 180, close to 180. So you brought that down to something like maybe 3,500. Let me make sure my math is right. So if you exclude past winners, you're talking about maybe 27 numbers that you're talking about. Again, that's less than 30. Times six is going to be $162, and times 20, yeah, see, it's like well, not times 20, $162 times, hold on, 162. It's going to be 324. Yeah. You would have spent $3,240, but you would have had $10,000. That's facts. You guys could do the math yourself. You see it right here. You see how that 671 immediately bled into that 670? That's less than 30 numbers. That's $3,000. You would have $10,000, fam, tax free. But I am challenged with what some of my subscribers are willing to pay. Now, if you're talking about real like money heads, dudes with paper, man, $3,000 to get $10,000 is like incredible. That's like 3 to 1 odds. Like you're basically paying it's for every $333 or $3,333, I'm giving you 9,999. That's 3 to 1. Like, who wouldn't take that? So it's not that the wins aren't there. They're there. You guys are seeing it. It's just, how do you get a strategy, right? How do you lower the strategy such that you're dealing with 1 to 2 numbers? I think I already showed in the last video. Hey, if you're under 40, you're already winning. You guys get that? The most that you can win in cash three, like not most, but the minimum you can win in cash three is $40. So if I played this 28 here, this count box, um, at 50 cents, I got $40. So I'm ahead. If I played it at $1, I got $80. So I'm ahead. It's just when you combo it to make it, worth your time, how many people can afford that? So yeah, think about that. The wins are there, family. You guys see it. And we're still just in the on the 6th day now. The draws haven't happened yet, but the wins are there. I mean, you see it. You see this 671 right here. How that bled into this 670. Right here. You comboed it right. It was right there, and there's the next winner right there. So 28 numbers, family. That's super simple. See y'all on the other side. Take care.